Discipline and consistency separate the good from the great.
Welcome to the Millionaire Woman Show, where we'll be discussing leadership, business, human potential, inspiring you to live rich from the inside out. Unlock your creativity, stretch out of your comfort zone, break through your barriers, take inspired action, and achieve epic results. Now here's your host, three-time best-selling author, speaker, and certified executive coach, Debra Kasowski.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Millionaire Woman Show. We're so glad to have you back. I'm your host, Debra Kasowski, and today I wanted to talk to you about facing challenges. And when you're facing challenges, whether it be in life, business, or leadership, I want you to think about the challenges that you have already faced. You have a collection of stories, I'm sure, of all the different times a challenge has come up for you and how you have faced, overcome, perhaps failed, and learned many lessons. So some of the most common challenges that we hear about are often have to do with finances, relationship, health issues, disappointment when it comes to friendship or love, and family dynamics, of course. And there's also the outside influences, the weather, pandemic, some of those extraneous circumstances that kind of throw a curveball into life. So the question is, do you see challenges as a threat, or is it something that you will embrace and rise above? You see, someone with a fixed mindset will look at a challenge, and if they don't believe themselves to be successful, they're not even going to attempt the challenge. They're going to back down. So I want you to think about how you approach challenges as they arise. Are you going to rise up to the challenge and think the obstacle is something that you just go up, over, and around? Or is it something that's going to take you down and not allow you to grow into the person you need to be? See, a growth mindset individual will say, okay, bring it on. Let's take this challenge and let's learn from it, see where I can grow and learn and step into my potential. So I want you to think about some of the biggest challenges you've ever faced. Just take a look and reflect at why were they a challenge for you? Why did you consider them a challenge? What was going on for you at the time? And what was the self-talk that you were telling yourself? So when you're looking at those challenges, I think most of my challenges that I've faced have often been physical, whether they've been a triathlon or running. It was in my mind that it was always something that others could do that maybe I couldn't do. And then I started with the 5K and then got into a 10K and then got into the half marathon. And suddenly it was building blocks. So same thing with skill set. I think about the first time, I watched kids swimming. They first get wet. They jump in the pool. Then they put their face in the water. All these little steps build up to that Olympic athlete, sprinting in the pool, doing breaststroke or, butterfly that always gets you amazed when you're watching the Olympics. So I want you to think about those challenges and ask yourself, what makes something a challenge for you? So sometimes some of the challenges we self-induce. Actually, we overcommit to things, we overschedule ourselves, we have trouble with stress management, perhaps poorly managed, not taking time out for ourselves, using different coping mechanisms that aren't healthy choices, and also not putting in boundaries in place when it comes to time, money, or even resources. And often some of those can be in relationships as well. So what I want to do is help you be able to move through some of the challenges that you could be facing. If you're in a financial challenge, I'm not going to claim to be an expert by any means in financial planning, but there are several different resources and books that you can listen to. Dave Ramsey podcast and his books are great. There's a Gail Vazoxalate, all these different people who offer their wisdom. And, looking at where there's gaps in your finances, where is their money going where it doesn't need to be? Are you making choices based on needs and wants? So there are these little increments that you can start paying attention to. And here's the biggest thing about anything that you want to change, anything that you face as a challenge. When you are self-aware, that self-awareness is a game changer. This is when you know that you can make changes. You're aware. That awareness is the greatest gift that you can have to face any challenge, any change that you want to face. And now, when I look at a challenge, I think of it as something I'd like to embrace. So as you've been listening to the podcast, I've done the 75 hard challenge. I have a phenomenal podcast with my friends who joined me in doing the 75 hard, and their stories, very powerful stories of how we embrace challenges, some of the surprises along the way. And today I'm finishing the phase 1 of the 30-day challenge, which includes, many of the 75 hard items, plus, my critical tasks that I needed to get done, as well as a 5-minute cold shower, 10-minute visualization. Now, where my challenge came in for those things was, the first few days of the cold shower, it was, I was cursing for the first minute. I was paying attention to my timer, wanting to know when that 5 minutes was up. And then someone had sent me benefits of a cold shower. And suddenly I was reading it, and the person suggested listening to 2 songs while you're in the shower. And then I didn't think about the songs. I just danced in the shower, or I sang in the shower. And all of a sudden those 5 minutes were up. I visualized in the shower. There were so many things that suddenly I had these distractions, and I didn't pay attention to the temperature, but the temperature became relative. Because once my body got accustomed to it, it didn't necessarily feel as cold. And then you turn it down and turn it down. And it was cold, almost to the off button. And I was like, this is actually feeling pretty good. It's actually very refreshing. Helped me sleep even better than I did before. I feel my skin feels different. So many different things benefited from that cold shower. Will I continue them? Maybe not every day, or maybe a minute, or, I'm not sure. But right now, like today is the last day of my cold showers, and I'll have to say it actually has been a great experience. Now, visualization has been powerful as well, and getting into the motion and feels. And, I like to say it's the glimpses of upcoming attractions. With visualization, the one thing I had to be cautious of is, I kept the timer on because I was concerned that as I got into such a relaxed state, or I made sure I was sitting up, that I didn't fall asleep, because I didn't want to miss out on all these upcoming attractions. It was like a movie, and it was like, I could see this set, I could see red carpet, I could see myself in a sequence emerald green gown at a gala, and celebrating, and at a book signing, and so many cool things were happening. And I was celebrating with, people like you who are listening to the podcast or watching this video. It was a beautiful experience, and connected to all those emotions and all the feelings that go with it. Now, when I think of the challenges, I wouldn't have thought about all those things before I started the challenge. And one of the greatest gifts that I've got from the challenge of doing 75 hard is the group that I did it with. It definitely made us so cohesive as a unit, knowing and thinking about each other and challenging each other, but also helping us mirror to each other how great we truly are, how much we enrich each other's lives. Because, when we finished it, we were like, oh, we need to do more. You kind of have this letdown. And here we are, January 2nd, going to be jumping back in to really embracing that again and seeing what we're capable of. And that's why I love, when you think of 30-day challenges, 60-day challenges, 75 hard is a 75-day challenge. And when you track your progress, you see success. And this is where it's really important to celebrate those wins in your life. Celebrate even, in your leadership or in your business, letting your team know that you recognize their successes and the challenges that they face and how they have overcome it. Maybe there's a lack of information, there's tightness on time, there's urgency, there's scarcity, but we still get things done. And to remind yourself, progress over perfection, to embrace the challenge and rise up. And, when I think of a brick wall, often when people think of challenges, they see this brick wall and form in front of them. And you can either go around it, you can go above it, you can crawl, whatever you need to do. It's how bad do you want it? So are you going to look at it and think that it's a threat? Or are you going to think of it as, okay, let me figure this out. I'm going to just blast through this and I'm going to make things happen. Now, also, I want you to allow yourself time. Now, I recently took a course called Speaking on Breath with Christoph Conrad. And one of the techniques that we remind ourselves is that we have time. Because when you are in a state of panic or in a reactive mode, what happens is your amygdala, that little small part in the back of your brain, is going to feel, is there to protect you from danger. So it's an instinctual process where you're going to, scan for danger, you're going to protect yourself, you're going to be on alert. Here's the thing. When you give yourself time and you blow a breath out, you have that moment of calmness to really collect your thoughts. You interrupt any cycle that feels like you're rushed or panicked. And by allowing just that little bit of space, you allow yourself to think with clarity. You think with conviction, and then you can move into actually doing something and be really responsive to the environment around you, the things that you want to say and do versus jumping into this reactive mode. The biggest thing when it comes to challenges, know that you're not alone. I was thinking about this Woman to Warrior event that, a number of girlfriends that we did together. We had the war paint on our face and, we were on a military base and we had a number of challenges, carrying sandbags, flipping tires. We were crawling over cinder, cement, climbing out of holes and all of these different things. And it really came down to some of that self-talk. What are you telling yourself as these challenges arise? Can you push yourself through it? Can you utilize other people to help get you out of that position? By asking for help, we can get further. It is truly a strength. And knowing the resources and the people to ask, now that's leverage. Now, a lot of emotions come up during challenges. Knowing how far you've come. Recently, I'm really excited because next week, my Blue Talk is going to be published and aired on YouTube. And Corey Poirier did a fantastic job of putting it together with Shelley. And, I just finished watching the video of me speaking on stage 10 years ago. And, I thought I did a pretty good job then. But when I fast forward, here we are 10 years later, and I think of different challenges that arose, different types of dynamics that came up, the issues that came up on my way to the dream, per se. I watched the video and I actually had tears to really acknowledge myself for how far I've come. And I think that we forget how far we've come in different challenges and where we've been. I remember the first time I went to the gym, I didn't know anything about lifting weights. I'm a farm girl, lifting 5-gallon pails, that was my toughness, jumping on bales, hauling water to the pigs or what. That was my toughness. And here I was at the gym. I couldn't even lift 10-pound weights with my legs and a leg extension machine. And now I think about all the phenomenal things that my body can do. And to have gratitude for that and recognize how much more we're capable of than we actually give ourselves credit for. And it's pretty amazing, the lives that we lead and the joy that we can find everywhere around us. And just to be fascinated by life itself. And also thinking big. Why think small or why put yourself in a small space when you're capable of big things? And really keeping that positive mindset is huge when it comes to challenges. But the biggest thing comes down to that self talk. Are you going to listen to that voice that tells you you can't do things and it's nagging at you? Are you going to listen to the voice that you want to empower within yourself that speaks to you with conviction, says, I got this. I've faced challenges before and I have overcame. And I've made mistakes, but I get up every time and I learn something and I do better. I'm capable of change and I am capable of doing better. What are you telling yourself? Or do you also telling yourself, I have time? Can I be calm, cool, and collected? And really be able to see everything that I'm doing from the big picture perspective, but taking those small incremental steps toward my goals and dreams. Now, I wanted to, when I talk about awareness, it's really about, when you're looking at your current situation. And I want people to understand you are not your current situation. Okay. You're not your current situation. But we need you to be aware of where you're at, aware of where you want to go. Look at the gaps, what is missing, accept whatever it is right now, and, I've said this before. It is what it is used to annoy me for the fact that I thought people were resigning from doing anything about their situation. But that's not the case. What it often means is that they're just in a place of acceptance. This is where I'm at. And now where am I going to be heading to? Now, to be really clear with that, and then move into action. Move into action that actually gets me the results and the outcomes that I truly want. With awareness, I can take calculated risks. I can do my due diligence. I can plan effectively, but I must move into action if I'm expecting to see any results happen. Now, this is another thing I want to put into perspective. What is the difference? Do you know the difference between what a challenge truly is and what a problem is? You'll often see people equate a challenge with a problem, but they're different. A challenge is a demanding task that you want to overcome. It's a step on the checklist kind of thing that pushes you to do new things that you've maybe never done before. Whereas a problem, you see it as something difficult to deal with. It needs a solution. Whereas a challenge expects more of yourself to really push through and break through those mental barriers and develop that mental toughness to who you truly are. So now, when the next time you face a challenge, I want you to remember you have faced many challenges before. You're still here. We all face uncertainty. We all face challenges, and you are not alone. So, with that being said, think about how you've overcome challenges in the past. How have you rised above any situation to get to where you want to be and surprised even yourself? Thank you for joining me. I'm Debra Kasowski. Please go over to my website at www.debrakasowski.com, where you're going to get your free 3-part video course right now called Making Habits Stick, to build that focus and consistency into whatever goal and dream you have in place and knocking that out of the park and making your dreams a reality. Now, sign up for our newsletter. We send it out once a month. And also, if you're interested in getting your coaching with me, whether it be life, leadership, or business, please send me a message. I read all my emails personally, and we will set up a complimentary session to see if we are the right fit to connect and coach you through some of the challenges you might face. And you can also learn what you are capable of. Thank you for joining me. As Muhammad Gandhi said, be the change you wish to see in the world. And on behalf of myself, go out and make today great.